Hey guys, welcome to my deep dive into the September 9th, 2025 Congressional hearing on Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, or UAPs, what most folks still call UFOs. This was held by the House Oversight Committee's Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets, chaired by Representative Paulina Luna from Florida. The focus was on transparency around UAPs and protecting whistleblowers who come forward with sightings or experiences. We're going to go through each key witness, starting with their backgrounds, then breaking down what they testified about in detail, including their personal encounters. We'll pull in direct quotes where possible from their written statements and spoken testimony. We'll also connect some dots where testimonies overlap, like shapes or behaviors of these objects that echo other well-known accounts, such as Navy Commander David Fravor's famous 2004 Tic Tac encounter off the California coast. And yeah, we'll touch on that recent buzz about a metallic, Tic Tac-shaped anomaly detected under Egypt's ancient Great Labyrinth. It's got some eerie parallels that have UAP researchers talking. Let's keep this casual and straightforward, like we're chatting over coffee about government docs and weird skies. By the end, you'll have a solid grasp of why this hearing matters for national security and public trust. First off, the setup. The hearing kicked off with opening statements from lawmakers like Luna, who emphasized the need to end the stigma around UAP reporting. She said,
has been shrouded in secrecy, stigma, and in some cases outright dismissal. Today, I want to state clearly that this is not science fiction or creating speculation. This is about national security, government accountability, and the American people's right to the truth.
She highlighted issues with the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, accused of brushing off reports and lacking follow-up, and criticized former AARO Director Sean Kirkpatrick as a documented liar. Representative Tim Burchett from Tennessee pushed for better tracking of funds that might be funneled into secret UAP programs through private contractors to avoid oversight. No AARO reps showed up, which drew flack. The witnesses were a mix: a journalist, active duty military, veterans, and a policy expert. Now, on to the first one. Let's start with George Knapp, a veteran in the UFO journalism game. Knapp's been a chief investigative reporter for KLAS-TV in Las Vegas since the 1980s. That's over 38 years chasing stories on everything from organized crime to paranormal stuff. He's won multiple Emmys and Peabodys, but he's most famous for his deep dives into UFOs. Back in 1989, he broke the Bob Lazar story. Lazar claimed he worked on reverse engineering alien tech at a secret site near Area 51 called S4. Knapp's interviewed big names like aerospace billionaire Robert Bigelow, who funded UAP research and negotiated with Lockheed Martin over exotic materials that supposedly weren't from Earth. He's co-authored books like Skinwalkers at the Pentagon and hosts Coast to Coast AM on weekends, discussing government cover-ups to international UAP incidents. In his written testimony, he positions himself as a bridge between historical leaks and modern whistleblowing, noting,
began my pursuit of this weird mystery way back in 1987, and for 38 years, I've always approached this as a news story. It's not a matter of faith or belief. To me, it's a story, and it's an important one.
During the hearing, Knapp laid out a timeline of government deception starting from the 1940s, pulling from declassified docs he obtained via FOIA requests. He talked about how the U.S. has misled the public on UAPs for decades, citing military memos that admit these things are real, can evade radar, and outperform any known aircraft. He said,
the documents from military and intelligence personnel behind closed doors admit that, quote, these things are real. They're not fictitious. They can fly in formation, they're evasive, and they outperform any aircraft known to exist, including ours.
He dove into international angles, sharing details from Soviet-era documents he got during Glasnost in the 1990s. These described Threat 3, a massive Russian UAP investigation program that collected thousands of reports. One standout story he shared was a 1982 incident over a Ukrainian ICBM base. A UFO reportedly hacked into the launch codes, powering up missiles as if ready to fire, causing panic among officers before everything normalized and the object vanished. Knapp quoted a source, "Something entered the correct codes. The missiles fired up, ready to launch. Officers panicked. The UFOs disappeared. System normalized." He connected this to U.S. patterns, suggesting governments use UFO myths to hide black projects, and noted crash retrieval programs are real, citing Lazar and Bigelow's work with unusual materials not made on Earth. He slammed U.S. stigma deterring scientists, contrasting it with Russia and China's bold pursuits. His plea? Protect whistleblowers from insults, career sabotage, or worse, even their freedom. Lawmakers like Burchett grilled him on laundered funds to private contractors dodging FOIA. Knapp agreed it's a key area to probe, saying,
I think you got to unleash the dogs and go track down the money and where it goes, because a lot of this stuff has been moved out of government. Sure. As you know, Rep. Burchett, it's been given to private contractors who've stashed it away. They've had it for so long that there's nobody left inside government, or very few, who know where it is.
And they do that to keep us from FOIA, correct?
Yeah, it's to keep it from FOIA. And I think that the contractors who've had this stuff for a very long time set their own standards about who is allowed to know what. And it's a very small group that ever cracks that. I think Representative Luna has been looking at the use of classifications to hide things. I'm not sure that even this committee getting security clearances that should allow you to see this stuff would allow you to follow where it really goes.
His testimony echoes broader themes, like how foreign powers are more open about UAPs, potentially giving them an edge. Knapp also affirmed crash retrievals, saying,
Back in 1989, I reported about a guy named Bob Lazar, who claimed that he worked at a facility dubbed S4 out in the Nevada desert, very near to Area 51. He said he was part of a reverse engineering program. He said there are alien craft that were being taken apart to figure out how they operated out there. And that was a pretty tall order. I had clearly taken a dive into the deep end of the pool there.
Next up is Chief Alexandra Wiggins, an active-duty U.S. Navy Senior Chief Petty Officer with 23 years of service. He's an operations specialist, basically a radar and sensor expert, and he's a family man, father of 3. Wiggins testified on his own behalf, not representing the Navy, which got clearance for his appearance. His background includes deployments on ships like the USS Jackson, where he handles air traffic control and threat detection. He's no stranger to high-stakes ops, but this was his first public whistleblowing. In his written statement, he detailed,
My name is Alexandra Wiggins. I'm an active-duty U.S. Navy Operations Specialist Senior Chief Petty Officer. To be clear, I am not here to make claims beyond my lane. I am here to provide a first-hand account of what I saw, what our systems recorded, and why it matters for safety, for intelligence, and public confidence.
Wiggins described a UAP sighting from February 15, 2023 off Southern California's coast aboard the USS Jackson. Radar picked up an anomaly first. No transponder, no identifiable signature. Then, using electro-optical and infrared cameras, they spotted a self-luminous Tic Tac shaped object emerging from the ocean. It hovered, then linked up with 3 identical orbs, syncing up before accelerating to Mach 1 to 2 in bursts. No sonic boom, no exhaust trail. He testified,
On the evening of February 15, 2023, at approximately 19:15 PST, in the Whiskey 291 warning area off the coast of Southern California, I was serving on board USS Jackson. During that period, I moved between the Interior Communications Center, ICC-1, and the bridge wing, correlating the sensor picture with visual observations, part of my routine responsibilities for surface and air picture management. What I observed and what our crew recorded was not consistent with conventional aircraft or drones as they appear on our system. A self-luminous Tic Tac shaped object emerged from the ocean before linking up with 3 other similar objects. The four then disappeared simultaneously with a high synchronized, near instantaneous acceleration. I observed no sonic boom and no conventional propulsion signatures. No exhaust plume, no control surface articulation on the Sapphire image system. Shortly after the synchronized departure, radar tracks dropped. These observations were multi-sensor and recorded inside of ICC-1 with time location overlay visible in our source frames that have been made public by journalists. From my experience operating in this region over many years and consistent with our public characterized encounters, unidentified objects reoccur in United States operation areas off Southern California. That fact alone does not tell us what they are, but it does argue the systematic, stigma-free reporting and for the preservation of sensor data so analysts can evaluate safe and intelligence implications with rigor.
Multiple sensors confirmed it. The crew recorded video using a STAR SAFIRE system with location and timestamps, but there was no official debrief or agency follow-up. He stressed safety risks. These things operate in military zones, potentially causing collisions. He called for standardized training, data preservation, confidential channels, saying,
"Reporting without stigma, protection without retribution." Sailors need to know that reporting UAP encounters will not harm their careers.
Based on long service in the region, he noted unidentified objects are encountered regularly off Southern California, the same area as the 2004 Tic Tac. This Tic Tac description immediately rings bells with other accounts. Commander David Fravor, a retired Navy pilot, encountered a similar white oblong Tic Tac-shaped object about 40 feet long in November 2004 during training off San Diego aboard the USS Nimitz. Fravor described it disturbing the ocean's surface like something was submerged, then mirroring his FA-18's movements before darting away at impossible speeds. No wings, no rotors, no heat signature. His wingman, Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, corroborated it, and FLIR video went public in 2017 via the New York Times. The Pentagon confirmed the footage in 2020. Wiggins' 2023 sighting mirrors this: ocean emergence, tic-tac shape, group formation, hypersonic bursts without noise. Fravor has said in interviews it's not US tech or any adversaries, too advanced. Other testimonies like Ryan Graves' 2014 to 2015 gimbal and go-fast videos show similar orbs or cylinders off the East Coast with no exhaust and erratic moves. And get this, there's even a weird tie-in to ancient mysteries. Recent satellite scans and ground-penetrating radar in Egypt detected a massive underground structure under the Hawara Pyramid, part of the legendary Great Labyrinth described by Herodotus as having 3,000 rooms. At its center, about 150 to 180 feet down, is a 40-meter-long metallic anomaly shaped like a Tic Tac or elongated capsule. News outlets like Popular Mechanics and the Daily Mail covered it in July to September 2025, speculating it could be an ancient artifact or something more exotic. Herodotus wrote of the labyrinth holding secrets of the gods. Modern scans show non-natural materials. UAP enthusiasts link it to Tic Tac sightings, wondering if it's evidence of ancient tech or visitors. Wiggins didn't mention Egypt, but the shape similarity has online forums buzzing. Could these be connected across time? Moving on to Jeffrey Nuccitelli, a U.S. Air Force veteran with 16 years as a military police officer specializing in security at sensitive sites. Post-service, he's worked in federal national security roles, like protecting government facilities. His Air Force time included stints at Vandenberg Air Force Base, now Space Force Base, in California, home to missile launches and the National Reconnaissance Office. He's spoken on podcasts like UAP episodes earlier in 2025 about his experiences, but this was his big congressional debut. In his written testimony, he stated,
My name is Jeffrey Nusatelli. I'm a former military police officer with 16 years of active duty service in the U.S. Air Force. I'm here today because the American people have both the right and the responsibility to know the truth about unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Nucitelli detailed 5 UAP incursions at Vandenberg from 2003 to 2005, often timed with satellite or missile launches. The highlight was the October 14, 2003, Vandenberg Red Square event, a massive glowing red square hovering over missile silos seen by dozens. He described triangular crafts larger than football fields, pulsing lights, erratic maneuvers, saying,
The incursions began on October 14, 2003, when Boeing contractors reported a massive glowing red square silently hovering over 2 missile defense sites. After several minutes, it drifted further east onto the base and vanished over the hills. This event, now known as the Vandenberg Red Square, was referenced by Representative Luna at the first hearing on this topic. Official Air Force records of this event are in possession by Aero and the FBI. Later that night, while I was on duty, security guards at a critical launch site reported a bright, fast-moving object over the ocean. I responded to the incident. Chaos ensued over the radio as the object approached rapidly. I heard my friends screaming, "It's coming right at us, it's coming right for us, and now it's right here." Moments later, I heard them say that it had shot off and was gone. When I arrived on scene, I talked to 5 shaken witnesses who described a massive triangular craft larger than a football field that hovered silently for about 45 seconds over their entry control point before shooting away at impossible speed.
One personal encounter, a 30-foot light sphere 200 feet above his home, pulsing before vanishing.
And then I had my own encounter, again in 2005. I was off duty, sitting in my backyard with 2 other police officers, when we noticed what first appeared to be a satellite in orbit, but it wasn't acting like a satellite. The light was strange, it was pulsing, and then it started to maneuver. It dropped in elevation, at times it would vanish from view and reappear in a different location in the sky, and eventually it reappeared 200 feet over my house. It was a 30-foot diameter sphere of light. My friends and I watched it for a moment, and then it gently accelerated and traveled up and disappeared into the stars. These events profoundly changed my life and the lives of my friends.
Reports went up the chain, but no feedback. He criticized Aero for botched follow-ups due to Air Force record purges after 3 years, losing key data, saying,
Each incident was witnessed by multiple personnel, documented, investigated, and reported up the chain of command. We sent information up, but we got no guidance down on how to handle these events.
His stories share themes with historical UAP flaps, like 1960s sightings over New England power plants or Minuteman missile sites, where UFOs allegedly tampered with nukes, similar to Knapp's Ukrainian tale. For instance, the 1967 Malmstrom AFB incident involved UFOs hovering over silos, shutting down 10 ICBMs, as reported by Captain Robert Salas. Nucitelli's red square and triangles echo the 1989 to 1990 Belgian wave, where thousands saw massive triangular craft tracked on radar with F-16 scrambled but unable to intercept. Lawmakers like Representative Eric Burleson asked about U.S. tech. Nucitelli replied, "Nothing to my knowledge." He urged,
There are 3 goals. Fund independent research and treat UAP study with the same seriousness as we would any other scientific field. 2, end secrecy and overclassification. Transparency is the foundation of truth. Without it, witnesses like us are dismissed. 3, protect the witnesses. Many stay silent out of fear for their careers, reputations, and the safety of their families. Protect them, and you will embolden others to join this cause.
Then there's Dylan Borland, a former Air Force geospatial intelligence specialist, 1N1 rating from 2010 to 2013. He analyzed satellite imagery and intel for missions, working at bases like Langley AFB in Virginia. This was his first public testimony, and he came across as reluctant but determined, having faced over a decade of fallout. In his written statement, he explained,
My name is Dylan Borland, a former 1N1 geospatial intelligence specialist for the United States Air Force in an active duty enlisted capacity from 2010 to 2013. I've also been employed with BAE Systems and Intrepid Solutions as a senior analyst, expert in analyzing video, radar, and advanced electro-optical imagery for official identification of aerial order of battle as well as naval and ground order of battle.
Borland described a 2012 UAP sighting at Langley that he reported, leading to severe retaliation, harassment, blocked promotions, security clearance manipulations. He said,
During the summer of 2012, my team was on standby for weather and I returned to my barracks on base, and at approximately 0130, I saw an approximately 100-foot equilateral triangle take off from near the NASA hangar on the base. The craft interfered with my telephone, did not have any sound, and the material it was made of appeared fluid or dynamic. I was under this triangular craft for a few minutes, and then it rapidly ascended to commercial jet level in seconds, displaying zero kinetic disturbance, sound, or wind displacement.
He filed Inspector General complaints, but AARO classified everything and shut it down. He testified, severe retaliation, harassment, career blocks for over a decade. He withheld details from AARO due to mistrust. Borland felt sad, discarded and isolated, calling for stronger protections. He added that after the sighting, he was exposed to classified info from a UAP legacy crash retrieval program via a special access program, where officers approached him about misconduct and retaliation. He said,
Some years after that experience, I was further exposed to classified information from the UAP legacy crash retrieval program through a sensitive position I held within a special access program. During this time, intelligence officers approached me in fear for their own careers, citing misconduct within these programs and similar retaliation that I was already enduring at this time. These issues include medical malpractice committed by Veterans Affairs staff, denial of work I performed while enlisted in the United States Air Force, forged and manipulated employment documents, workplace harassment including colleagues being directed to not speak with me, manipulation of my security clearance by certain agencies, blocking, delaying, and ultimately removing my ability to be employed within the IC. The retaliation I face and the retaliation against individuals I know who worked in these programs is what convinced me in March 2023 to become a whistleblower. I came forward out of concern for people's lives and to ensure I did everything I could to let our elected representatives know the truth about what is really happening in the executive branch.
his experience highlights a pattern of reprisals seen in other whistleblowers, like Luis Elizondo, former AATP head, or David Grush, who claimed crashes and retrievals but faced career sabotage. Borland's triangle craft mirrors Nuccitelli's and echoes the Phoenix Lights of 1997, where thousands in Arizona saw a massive V-shaped or triangular object silently gliding over the city, with lights and no sound, investigated but unexplained. Rounding out, Joe Spielberger, the minority witness from the Project on Government Oversight, POGO. He's a senior policy counsel on their Effective and Accountable Government team, with a law background advocating for whistleblowers in Congress and the executive branch. Before POGO, he worked on VA and intelligence community issues, pushing reforms like independent appeals for national security blowers. He's testified before on topics like OSC, Office of Special Counsel, weaknesses. In his written testimony, he noted,
Chairwoman Luna, Ranking Member Crockett, and Task Force members, thank you for the opportunity to testify here today about the importance of strengthening whistleblower protections, especially in the context of national security. I am a senior policy counsel at the Project on Government Oversight, a nonpartisan independent watchdog organization that investigates and exposes waste, corruption, abuse of power, and when the government fails to serve the public or silences those who report wrongdoing.
Spielberger focused on systemic flaws, saying,
Whistleblowers are the first line of defense to root out waste, fraud, abuse of power, and corruption in our government. Congress relies on whistleblowers so that it can fully exercise its oversight and legislative authorities. It's understandable that former presidents of both parties have often taken a hostile approach toward whistleblowers.
He noted national security whistleblowers lack jury trials or independent reviews, making them vulnerable. He urged Congress for UAP-specific channels and accountability, citing POGO's decades of alarms on protections, including work with Area 51 whistleblowers in the 1990s exposing illegal hazardous waste burning. He said,
POGO advises members of Congress on both sides of the aisle to focus on the evidence, not the individual. We will always need whistleblowers to achieve the government that best serves its people. Because when people of conscience, integrity, and good character refuse to speak up, out of fear, complacency, or self-preservation, and leave corruption to fester behind closed doors, that is probably the most dangerous risk of all. If we are serious about increasing government transparency and restoring the public's trust, we need public servants committed to the truth. Whistleblowers need safe and effective channels to make lawful disclosures. They need stronger protections against retaliation, and when they do face retaliation, they need a fair shot to be made whole. Congress has made strides to pass whistleblower legislation, and these laws need to be updated and expanded so that whistleblowers truly receive the protections they need, retaliators are held accountable, and we can achieve the type of government the people deserve. We strongly urge Congress to continue its historic tradition of championing the rights and protections of all whistleblowers.
The showstopper was Representative Burleson unveiling footage. October 30th, 2024, off Yemen, a MQ-9 drone's Hellfire missile hitting a supersonic orb, bouncing off with no damage, debris vanishing. Knapp commented,
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
So
what flies like that?
Again,
This transmedium behavior echoes Tic Tac and Vandenberg sightings. The hearing built on 2023's with Grush, pushing declassification. In closing, Luna vowed legislation for protections, Burchett for fund tracking. This hearing fuels debates. Are these advanced drones, foreign tech, or something extraterrestrial? The push for transparency could change how we view our skies and history. If you like this video and want to see more on UFO phenomena, then do consider hitting the subscribe button. It would help out the channel a lot. This is Dimension UAP, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe out there.